Welcome back to the Kosi Arsenal channel. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to a brand new video. This is the Sunday wrap-up where we delve into the biggest stories around Arsenal in the last 7 days. It's been quite a very eventful week with Arsenal working on a couple of deals, and of course, that beating of Real Madrid cannot be forgotten. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and let's dive into the favorite stories in the last 7 days around Arsenal. Let's start off with Arsenal beating Real Madrid 3-0. That was the highlight of the week. Everyone was mesmerized and everyone was actually sparkled. Arsenal took to Madrid 3-0 at the Emirates Stadium, and I still can't believe it, and probably you can't still believe it too. It was a gargantuan performance that gave Arsenal an upper hand in the quarterfinals, and if we make up and we keep up the good performance, we shall go through to the semi-finals. Of course, that means that Arsenal will play either PSG or Aston Villa, which are quite lightweight as compared to Real Madrid. And that has actually boosted our chances of getting some silverware this campaign. That has also put us in line for the UCL final. Let me know if you think Arsenal will go past Real Madrid on Wednesday. It's a very, very difficult tie. Madrid are the kings of comebacks, but this one looks to be a very difficult for them without Ricardo Camavinga in the team, and a couple of injuries that they're suffering from as well. Now, Bukayo Saka is set to get a new deal from Andrea Bata. It's going to be 300k. This is a story that has come out today on Sunday, and I say, why not? Let's talk about it in the Sunday wrap-up. 300k for Bukayo Saka. Is going to be the most paid player at Arsenal. I've already said he deserves it. He deserves to be the most paid player at the club. He works harder than anyone, and I think he's a more effective player than anyone. For example, we say Martin Odegaard is the creative, mind of this team, but we have already seen, without Odegaard on the pitch, Saka creates a lot for others. But when it comes to Odegaard, without Saka on the pitch, at times Odegaard doesn't even create that much. I'm not saying Odegaard isn't as creative, just having a bad run of form. We've talked about Odegaard. We've done a whole video on Martin Odegaard. But for me, Saka is Arsenal's most effective, efficient, important, and reliable player. He's so reliable that whenever Arsenal have him, we can make things happen. We just have that psychological joy when he's there, that things are going to happen, and things do happen with Bukayo Saka on the pitch. So 300k for me is not a big deal, especially think that he's going to be the topmost star at the club. Now, if we're going to bring in a player like Alexander Isak, I would have massive questions and concerns about Saka getting 300k. And the question for that would be, if you're having Isak coming in, within the next 2 years, you're going to be giving him about 300k. I'll be scared. But I think Saka is going to be Arsenal's top earner. He's going to be our world-class star. And with world-class stars, you've got to pay them what they want. It's as simple as that. There is another world-class star that Al Ittihad and Al Nassr this week have offered top dollar money, and that is Gabriel Magalh. He has been offered 400,000 per week to join the Saudi Arabian Pro League. Now, this is a player that has been, I would say, a subject of interest for quite some time from Saudi Arabia. They tried to get him in the summer of 2024, didn't they? They tried to get him in the summer of 2024 or 2023. They did. And he's had one of the best seasons in his life, one of the best seasons for Arsenal. We cannot argue. And Mikel Arteta said it, that we have lost our best defender this season. To say that, for a manager who is managing William Saliba, world-class talent, for you to say that we have lost our best defender this season, with Gabriel Magalh's, Magalh is out and William Saliba still playing, that tells you everything you need to know about Gabriel Magalh's form this campaign and his importance this campaign. He scored a couple of goals, big game player. He doesn't give up. He's been a monster over centre back. And for me, if you're an Arsenal fan out there, you've got to be scared. I am scared. These guys are willing to part with 100 million euros and 400k per week. That puts him at 1.6 million per month, and that puts him on track for around 20 million per year. It's a lot of money, right? It's really, is it, yeah, 20 million? Around 24 million per year. It's a lot of money. So, are Arsenal going to turn 100 million euros down? Let's wait and see. Are Arsenal going to convince him to stay? We are in talks with his agents for a new deal, right? Are we going to convince him to turn down 400k per week? It remains to be seen. Now, where I was concerned, again, this week, according to David Onstein, Arsenal are in contact with the agents of Dean Huijsen. Dean Huijsen is one of the real talents out there. Everyone is interested. I am not going to say Arsenal wants him. Everyone wants him. Tottenham, City, United, Madrid, Bayern, Arsenal, whichever club you think about wants him. And one thing about Real Madrid is when they come in early for a player, they've seen something. Like, look at their squad right now. Look at their players right now. They always go in early for a player. We were talking about what's going to happen with Jude Bellingham this summer. I think that was the summer of 2023. What's going to happen? And then boom, we get a Real Madrid. Here we go. We're talking about Tchouaméni to Arsenal, Tchouaméni to Liverpool. Boom, Madrid. Here we go. So when they go in early, they have seen something. Dean Huijsen is one of the massive talents on our hands in world football right now. Of course, I'm not going to say it's the most talented. I can't say that. We have Bastoni, we've got William Saliba, we've got a couple of interesting talents, even Lewis Kelly as well. Bloody hell. But when it comes to the Gabriel situation, and I'm hearing Arsenal linked with Gerard Hato once again, and I'm hearing Arsenal linked with Dean Huijsen, and we're hearing that, yes, Gerard Hato's move could hinge on Kivior leaving. I'm like, okay, that's no problem. But Dean Huijsen is going to cost 50 million. His release clause is 50 million. Unless, otherwise, I do not expect Bournemouth to be so merciful for us that a 50 million pound release clause is negotiated down with all this competition on the deal. Doesn't make any financial sense. Like, they will be looking to earn more. So if Arsenal go out there and do that 50 million deal for Dean Huijsen and we win the rest, you've got to be concerned about the futures of some of these centre-backs at Arsenal. Not because they're not good enough, but these clubs are offering huge money. Madrid want to throw 85 million at William Saliba, and Al Nassr and Al Ittihad want to offer 100 million for Gabriel Magalh. Arsenal are really being tested. But this could also be the agent talk. But why I think it's not agent talk is Arsenal looking at Dean Huijsen. You're not signing a 50 million centre-back if you have the best pair, the best centre-back pair in the world. And you have Ben White and Timber who can deputize, and you have Tomiyasu who can deputize, and you have Ricardo Calafiori as well. Maybe Arsenal are telling us something, but we will get to know. So Arsenal are looking at a couple of defenders, not because Gabriel might leave, but we're just looking to strengthen this summer, as a couple of defenders are expected to exit through the door. We've talked about Gerard Hato at Ajax. Big name into the Arsenal ranks. Mikel Arteta likes him. We've talked about him before on the channel as well. You have the likes of Tarek Mitchell at Crystal Palace. You have the likes of Maguire at Crystal Palace, Milos Kerkez we've talked about, and Dean Huijsen both at Bournemouth. Now, this week we have also offered someone a 5-year deal, and he'll be earning 200,000 per week if he joins, and that is Viktor Gyokerez. So Arsenal are looking to shed off competition from all these other clubs that are unwilling to give Viktor Gyokerez 200k per week, and some of those clubs include your very Manchester United, your own Tottenham, the likes of Chelsea, and a couple of others. And it's been reported that other clubs are not willing to climb as high as 200k per week to give Viktor Gyokerez. He's going to be one of the most paid players at Arsenal. He's going to get 12 million euros per year. If we compare that to what he's earning, he's going to multiply his salary by 5 times. Obviously, there are more taxes when it comes to the Premier League than in the Portuguese Liga, but still, that is a hell of a rise. So Viktor Gyokerez, 200k. We've talked about the channel, the deal on the channel. Is he worth it? For me, he's worth it. But is it too early to give him 200k? Yeah. I mean, we could have given him 160k, and then in the next two years, we'll renegotiate that contract, and we are, maybe talking about 200k. The problem with contracts these days, by the way, is I think players' contracts are almost renegotiated every day. Have you noticed that? Like, you negotiate a deal, 5-year deal, within the next 2 years, you're already talking about a new deal. Otherwise, Madrid are calling and they're saying, don't sign a new deal. We're going to do what we've done with Trent. Do not sign a new deal. Those bloody bastards. But when it comes to Viktor Gyokerez, I think Arsenal is serious. I think Arsenal are pushing whatever they want. The 5-year deal, while earning 200k, 12 million per year, that's a lot of money. And that is going to turn the player's head. The players already told Sporting, I am going to be leaving. He's yet to make a decision as to where he's going to go finally, but he is leaning towards Arsenal. So Arsenal look like they're in path to get Viktor Gyokerez. However, a player that we like very much, that we are not in line with getting, is Nico Williams. Every single day, you get a positive story, you get a negative story. You get encouragement, you get disappointment. It's crazy about Nico Williams. And of course, I think it's a deal that is going to drag on and drag on and drag on until this summer. But what we know about Nico Williams right now is that Atletico Bilbao, according to outlet Tele Bilbao, they're very close to Bilbao, they're saying that they want to give him kind of a lifetime contract. It's not like a lifetime contract really, but these crazy contracts that Spanish clubs give their players. You know the way Barcelona said, if you want to sign Gavi, it's 1 billion. If you want to sign Pedri, it's 1 billion. If you want to sign Lamine Yamal, it's 1 billion. They put these unrealistic release clauses in player contracts, and they give them long-term contracts, so they look like lifetime contracts, right? Now, that's what Atletico Bilbao are planning to do, according to Tele Bilbao. However, more reliable sources have said Bilbao agree, and they did reach an internal consensus that they might lose Nico Williams this summer. And therefore, what they want to do is renegotiate the release clause of the player and just get a better deal. Not 45 million in his current release clause, but something like 70 million or 80 million or 90 million for their player. He's their star player, one of the best in Europe in his position. It only makes sense that they go out there and try to get a lot of money. Now, for Arsenal, for me, I want to know, does Mikel Arteta think that Nico is worth 70, 80 million? If it ceases to be a market opportunity, because right now it's a market opportunity, 45 million for Nico Williams, market opportunity. But if it ceases to be a market opportunity and it goes crazy into 50 million, 60 million, 80 million, those high figures, do we still want Nico? And are we still going to go and do the deal? I would love to see that. But we have already been told by David Ornstein from The Athletic that we are looking at some options. Arsenal are looking at some options. For example, Gordon is a player they really like. Thank you so much for not watching my Gordon video. I did see you. But Gordon is a player I like. And I stand by everything I said in that video. Pace, good. Goals, good. Creativity, good. 1v1, good. Premier League proven, good. I stand by Anthony Gordon. Apart from the price, just feel like there will be kind of how can we call it? An English premium, right? The English premium tax. It will be there. But I like him as a good player. But if you don't like him, then you might like Rafael. Linked with Arsenal this week. Arsenal have considered that position, and Bata is a big fan of Rafael. Allow me to tackle the Rafael story tomorrow. We'll talk about Liao, we'll talk about why he's a world-class player. And of course, if Arsenal really want to go out there and spend like 70, 80 million on a winger, you've got to rate a club like a club like AC Milan. They're in absolute disarray. They're disorganized. You can give them 80 million, they will take it, and we move on. Now, in the attacking midfield position, Arsenal are looking at Adegula. Reports coming out this week that Arsenal are considering even a 40 million deal for Arda Güler. I don't know what is the future of Arda Güler at Madrid. You know, Madrid have this policy of jumping onto talent that never serves their purposes, right? In the end, they'll make some good money, like with Martin Odegaard. They'll sign you for a smaller fee, and then Arsenal buy you for 30 million, maybe, right? I think that's the same thing with Arda Güler, because I feel like, why didn't he go to Barca? Why didn't he go to Arsenal in the first place? Why would Arda Güler really want to play for Madrid? The playing style is very different. I don't think you're gonna develop from there. I thought he would come from Turkey and then move over to a club like Dortmund or Salzburg. Maybe Salzburg is a step down, but maybe RB Leipzig, just to develop his game the way the likes of Xavi Simons have done. I would have thought that Arda Güler comes from Galatasaray. Where did he come from? Galatasaray or wherever he came from, and maybe he goes to Ajax, so he goes to PSV and develops his game. So didn't understand that, but Arsenal been linked with him, and Andre Bata is not a big fan of Joan Garcia. You know that goalkeeper that Arsenal like very much. Bata is not a fan, and we've got to know today on Sunday. But I will report on that tomorrow on Monday. We have Madrid coming up this week and a couple of other games as well. See you in the next one.